I hope everyone's doing all right today. I just want to talk a little bit about fear right now. Again, another spontaneous recording, but I feel inspired to do it, so I'm going to do it right now. So, first of all, I hope whoever's listening to this, hope you're all doing okay, and don't let the bad things of the day get you down. I felt like someone needed to hear that. But anyway, so I want to talk a little bit about fear today and why it is. I don't want to say why it's a good thing or not a bad thing. I don't really want to go there, but I guess just to talk a little bit about it. A lot of times, things that life works a lot in opposites, and a lot of times when we are afraid of something, it's usually because at our core, who we are deep down inside, that's who we actually are. Certain traits that are afraid of, that's the traits that we are dominant in. Just who we are at our core is what we fear most in the world. A lot of us are afraid of success, and really deep down, we have the potential to make the biggest changes in the world. Usually the thing that we are the most, I guess, proficient in, or we have the most power in, the most potential in as individuals, is the thing that we are going to be attacked in most. We're going to be attacked most in that area of our lives and who we are. So if you are a person who is very intimate, then you are going to most likely be afraid of intimacy, or you're going to run into a lot of issues revolving intimacy, relationship issues, things like that. If you are a person who, is very successful, or, at your core, at heart, is very successful, can do amazing things, then what's going to end up happening is life is going to put you in circumstances that's going to make you seem like a failure with everything you do over and over again. You're going to be put in situations that's going to heavily test you to where it's going to be like, why is it that everybody around me can accomplish things so easily, but why is it so hard for me to do this one simple thing? Why is it that when I make one step forward, I get smacked like 10 steps back? And it's like that over and over again. Usually it's because you're just, being tested in that area. And like I said, life will make the strongest parts of ourselves the most difficult to express, or the most difficult to really, I guess express would be the strong word. But yeah, you're going to find yourself in a lot of circumstances or situations that's going to really hold you back and really fight against you from what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish. If you are a person who wants a relationship, who wants a lot of intimacy, then you're going to run into a lot of relationship problems. You may have a hard time finding romantic partners. And over the weirdest scenarios may happen, and you will end up not doing that thing. You may want to pursue your dreams or your goals, and out of the blue, random things will happen. Like you've always had a bunch of money and didn't know what to do with it, but now you want to invest in it. And all of a sudden, a bunch of random problems will start happening, and then you will have to pay a bunch of money over issues that never existed until now, when you found out something to do with it, something good to do with it. I'm trying to think of the word. I can't think of the word right now. Not progressive, but anyway, I'm sure you get what I'm trying to say. So to go back to the fear part, like I said, who we are at our core is who we fear. When we see it in other people, when we see it in what we're exposed to in media and movies, and when we see who we really are, we are going to most likely hate that thing. Most likely we're going to fear that thing. Sometimes when we want to do something, we'll have people closest to us. They'll say, you can't do that. You can't achieve that goal. And it's like they're people that you love, that you cared about. And all of a sudden, when you want to do something great for yourself, then everyone is going to tell you you can't do that. You can't accomplish this. You can't do this or you can't do that. And a lot of times when we're young is when we get hit with that. And we'll grow older, and when we become more adults, so many people have fallen down this loop. I'm sorry, my curtains actually fell and hit me on the head not too long ago. So anyway, so yeah, I'm trying to get everything out straight. I may stumble on my words a little bit, but yeah, just anyway, yeah, so I've noticed that a lot when we are children is when it happens a lot, when we'll be told that we can't accomplish a goal, we can't accomplish a dream, or we can't do this or we can't do that. And then when we become adults, we think, man, I would have been good at that, or I should have done this with my life. I should have done that with my life. That is another test to say, hey, you're alive and life has no age. Life is just endless and it keeps going. And as long as you are alive, then truly at your core, then truly, you can accomplish what you want. It doesn't matter what your age is, doesn't matter what the circumstances are. As long as you are alive, then there is still time to do something, to accomplish something, to make a change, to achieve a goal. And that's another thing that a lot of people, that's another trial that a lot of people run into, another wall, is that I'm too old to do this. And it just seems like too much work at this point. And surprisingly, that's actually another test to say, hey, your age isn't what is important right now. Your circumstances right now aren't what is important. What is important is this fire and this light that inside of you, that is inside, that if you invest in it, then your remainder of your existence will be such an amazing experience. It'll be such an amazing thing. And once you learn to really invest into that feeling, then, life becomes so much better. Life becomes amazing. It becomes great once you learn how to follow whatever that light is inside. Everybody has it. Even if it does seem dark, there's still a light there. Everybody has this light to do great things, to do amazing things. But anyway, so yeah, I'm hoping that what I said today really helps some people out. Just keep that in mind, that your fears, what you're afraid of is usually who you truly are, who we truly are. And the hardest areas of our life is what we actually excel the most in once we learn how to master that ability within ourselves as individuals. And each of us is different in how we do it, and each of us is a lot of us are the same in certain ways, but we all will have our seemingly different trials. We'll all have our different trials and things like that. But yeah, and the last thing I will say is, when it does come to finding that light, to actually awakening that spark, sparking that light, just when it comes to awakening it, what's going to happen is life is going to put you in a rough situation that is a reflection of the exact opposite of who you're trying to be, or where you're trying to go, or what you're trying to accomplish. And life does this because it requires you to be as above, so below. It requires you to awaken that ability within yourself. And that is where we come into supply and demand. When there is a demand that, hey, you're in this hole, and there's a demand that you need to find something within yourself to get out of it, then that is when you have to supply. That's when you have to learn how to find, whatever it is inside of you, and you have to supply that demand. You have to supply getting out of that hole. And so just don't think that life is always punishing you. Life is always trying to kick you down. It's not always like that. A lot of times the hardest, darkest, most difficult things about our lives is usually because life is trying to tell us that you can bounce back twice as good. You can bounce back from this, but it's like in order to move forward, you have to be pulled back first. It's like a rubber band. You have your string, you have your rubber band or like a slingshot. You got to pull it back, and the more you pull it back, when I say pull back, that's when I'm talking about darkness. That's what I'm talking about pain. That's what I'm talking about stress and bad circumstances. That is going back. And the more things are being pulled back, the more your life is being pulled back, then the further you're going to launch forward. But you see, the more you have to go, you have to go deeper and deeper. You have to pull back more and more. Life is going to pull you back more and more, is what I mean. And the more you're pulled back, then the further you're going to shoot forward. So all that pain that you were feeling, all that hurt, that is just trying to tell you that you are capable of feeling something amazing that is the exact opposite of the pain that you have deep down inside. That is why that is why a lot of times people will say, why do bad things happen to good people? It's usually because of that, because, life doesn't really have too much of an instruction manual, but we've been alive on this planet for thousands of years to the point where the blueprints on how a lot of the patterns of life it's very apparent, and it's kind of hard to read those blueprints a little bit, but it's like we try to figure it out as we go on in life. But a lot of times that there are certain manuals that do exist in the world on how to learn certain things or achieve certain things in life. It's just about how we find them and if we're ready to decipher what these things mean. So anyway, I say all of that, and before I go, last thing I wanted to say was basically what I just said was, the more you're being pulled back, the more you're going to move forward, as above, so below. The more good, the more bad, the more bad you feel, then the deeper you can love. The more pain you have, the more pleasure you can give, the more appreciation you can give, the more you don't have, just opposites, things like that. So just keep that in mind, that whatever it is, whatever pain that you're feeling right now, just know that you are only feeling that pain because you need to understand how to master it and how exactly to work with it to achieve the exact opposite of what it is it's trying to tell you. And the deepest thing I can say right now before I go is usually the devil's hands or the devil's work gives depth to how far God's blessing can go. Just keep that in mind. All right, well, I'm doing the best that I can with what I got, and I hope you do the same. And I hope you have a great day, and see you next time, or talk with you next time.